back, students, to the lecture on textile testing 2. In today's lecture, we will be discussing about Unit 5, which is the fabric assurance by simple testing. This lecture is in continuation of the previous lecture, which is on the same fabric assurance by simple testing. Today's lecture, we will be discussing on part 2 of the fabric assurance by simple testing. We'll move on to the previous lecture's short discussion. In our previous lecture, we have discussed about the introduction to FAST system. This FAST system is similar to Kawabata evaluation system. This also measures the low stress mechanical properties, but this FAST system complexity is much less when compared to the Kawabata evaluation system. This system can predict how a fabric will perform when it is made up into garment. And this FAST system is a commercially successful system which is used in industries also. This FAST system consists of 3 instruments and a test method. First one we have discussed last time, which is the compression meter. By using this compression meter, we can measure fabric thickness, surface thickness and release surface thickness. And next is the FAST 2, which is the bending meter. By using the bending meter, which works on the cantilever principle, we could measure the bending rigidity. And next is the FAST 3, which is the extension meter. By using the extension meter, we can measure 3 parameters, which is the extensibility, formability and shear rigidity. So this FAST system contains 3 instruments and a test method. In our last lecture, we have discussed in detail about the working principle of all the 3 instruments. All the 3 instruments works very fast and the results are automatically recorded. In today's lecture, we are moving on to the FAST 4. FAST 4, which is a test method. Now coming to the introduction, FAST 4. This test method measures the relaxation shrinkage and high-grell expansion. The test method is completed in less than an hour as opposed to the conventional one-day test. So this system, though it measures the relaxation shrinkage and high-grell expansion by involving some washing technique, this may not take the whole day. It may take less than an hour. Though it is the speed of the instrument test method is less when compared to the rapid fast testing of the previous instruments like FAST 1, 2 or 3, but this test method also involves less than an hour we can do the testing. For this FAST 4 test method, we require a forced convection oven, a template for measurement of the dimensions and a ruler, and these are all the only equipment required to do the testing. Now we'll move on to the discussion about relaxation shrinkage. What is relaxation shrinkage? Relaxation shrinkage is the irreversible change in the fabric dimension associated with release of extensional or compressional strains within a fabric that were not permanently set during the finishing. When we process the yarns, convert the yarns into fabric by using spinning, weaving and finishing techniques, the fabric undergoes a lot of stress and strains. So these stress and strains get relaxed when you wash it in the water. So this relaxation shrinkage is mainly due to the recovery of the fabric structure which got strained during the manufacturing. These dimensional changes occur when the fabric is exposed to elevated relative humidity, steam or water. So this relaxation shrinkage is one of the important parameters to be measured in this FAST 4 system. So if the values, whatever we get from the relaxation shrinkage, if it is excess or if it is insufficient, both are going to create problems during the garment manufacture. For example, if the relaxation shrinkage is very less, say if it is so less like 0% or 1%, then in that case, it will create problems in fusing and pleating. When you manufacture a garment, it will create a problem in the fusing and pleating. Especially when you do the tailoring, that time the garments will not be properly fused and it could not be pleated by using any kind of a pleating technique like autoclave technique, it will not get proper pleating. And especially the problems may occur in the shoulder seam. Yes, in the shoulders seam, when you do the stitching, that there also you will get the problem, and also in the sleeve head in the garment also you will get the problem. It will not properly fuse. And if the relaxation shrinkage is very high, that is also a problem. It will create problems like change of garment size and seam puckering. If the relaxation shrinkage becomes too high, then in that case what will happen, the size of the garment gets increased also too high. So that will also create problem during tailoring. And another problem is the seam puckering. When you stitch a garment where the fabric has the warp relaxation shrinkage is lower, or weft relaxation shrinkage is higher, like if you have a differential shrinkage where the difference between the warp and weft shrinkage is too high, then when you do the stitching, that will lead to the seam puckering. So the value of relaxation shrinkage should neither be too low nor be too high. It should be somewhere in between. Next parameter which we are going to see is the High-Grull expansion. This High-Grull expansion is the reversible change in the fabric dimension associated with absorption and desorption of water of the hygroscopic fibers. So this High-Grull expansion is related with the hygroscopic fibers. When you take the hygroscopic fiber and immerse it in water, either it will undergo swelling or it will undergo de-swelling. So during that time, how the dimension changes in the fabric, that is the High-Grull expansion. So for High-Grull expansion also we measure in both the warp High-Grull expansion and weft High-Grull expansion. So here the values of approximately 6% High-Grull expansion from dry to wet can normally be tolerated in fabric to be used in the structured garment. So here the tolerance level is high. You can even if the High-Grull expansion is up to 6% from dry state to wet state, it can be tolerated in the fabric so that you can use it in the structured garments. For example, if the value goes too high, excess, then in that case what will happen, as I have already told you, it will lead to seam puckering because of the difference in the warp and weft dimensions shrinkage. It will lead to seam puckering, fabric waviness. It will lead to waviness in the structure, buckling, so that buckling will happen when you do stitching. That time because of the thread tension or thread size, it will actually deform the fabric. When you give some compressive force, it will deform the fabric, and ultimately because of the excessive High-Grull expansion, it will result in the poor appearance of the garment during the wear. So the High-Grull expansion also should not be too high. So values of up to 6% is tolerable. Now we will see the test procedure, how this testing is done. As I have already told you, the testing method involves very less number of things to be used, like a forged convection oven and a ruler and a template. How we are going to do the testing, that we will see. It consists of 3 steps. First step is the fabric specimen is first oven dried up to 0% moisture. We completely dry it and its dimensions are measured. So that is L1. Next step is the fabric is soaked in water to measure its wet relaxed dimensions. This is step 2, which is step 2, you measure the wet relaxed dimension after you soak it in water. That is the L2. Next is the L3, where you take the specimen, dried the specimen whichever is soaked in water, it is dried again to measure its finally dry dimensions. That is L3. So here the relaxation shrinkage is L1 minus L3, that is the initial oven drying minus final dry dimensions divided by L1 into 100. That is the relaxation shrinkage. That is the fabric has been, you have actually soaked the fabric in water and then measured its dimensions, and then after that you dried the fabric and then you measure the final dimension, which is L3. So here the difference between L1 minus L3 by L1 gives the relaxation shrinkage. Next parameter which you calculate from the test procedure is High-Grull expansion. High-Grull expansion, you do not use L1, you take the difference between L2 and L3. That is, after you soak it in water, whatever measurements you recorded, that is L2, and after you dry it, you measure the final dry dimension, which is L3. So L2 minus L3 by L3 into 100. That is the High-Grull expansion. How much swelling or deswelling has taken place, that you will measure. That is the High-Grull expansion. Now we will see actually what happens when you do this testing in every step, like step 1, step 2 and step 3. What happens to the fabric dimension, that we will see. You can see this graph. X-axis shows the time required and y-axis shows the fabric dimensions. This is the step 1, from where you calculate the value, which is the L1. This is the initial measurement where you actually completely dry the fabric and take a measurement. That is given as L1. This can be both, L1 can be both warp L1 and weft L1. Next is the soaking in water. Once you soak it in water, what will happen? Since if it is a hygroscopic fiber, it can either expand or it can contract. So if it expands, the graph will increase, but if it contracts, then the graph will come down. So that is, there you calculate the value L2. You measure the expanded dimension or the contracted dimension, which is given as L2. Third step, which is the L3, where whatever after you soak the fabric in water and after you've taken the dimension, you then finally do the complete drying similar to the oven drying which you have performed in L1, and then you record the L3. So this is a graph actually which depicts the steps to test the dimensional stability in the fast 4 system. Now coming back to the interpretation, since so far we have seen about 3 instruments in the previous lecture, which is the fast 1, 2 and 3, and in today's lecture we have been discussing about fast 4 system. So all these 4 fast 1, 2, 3 and 4, completely 4 systems we have seen. So this system automatically plots the appropriate values and joins the various plotted points together to form a fabric. So this system automatically plots the appropriate values. Whatever values that we have obtained from the 3 instruments and 1 test method, it automatically plots the values and joins the plotted points to form a fabric. This is from here, how this by this fast system we get a information called fast control chart or fast fingerprint. So this fingerprint is unique to each particular fabric. It is, since it is a fingerprint, if you use different fabrics, then you will be getting different control charts and different fingerprints. So each value, whatever you get from the fast system, has a separate scale showing a graphical representation of range of values in appropriate units, which we are going to see. Next is also each scale contains 1 or more shaded zones. This shaded zones shows the problems that has occurred in the fabric. If the fingerprint, which is the fabric fingerprint, if the fingerprint into one of these zones, if the fingerprint falls into one of these zones, a potential problem with the particular aspects of the fabric performance influenced by that property is indicated. So wherever the shaded zones are shown, and there it actually shows the potential problem with the particular property that is indicated by this measurement. So we will now move on to how the fast interpretation is done. We will see the graph. If you observe this graph, this is the typical fast control chart. Here in the left side you can see the relaxation shrinkage, High-Grull expansion, formability, extensibility, bending rigidity, shear rigidity, thickness, surface thickness, release surface thickness and weight. On the right side we can see the units for these measurements, whatever we have tested. For example, here the relaxation shrinkage, it is expressed in percentage. High-Grull expansion also it's expressed in percentage. formability, which we have discussed in the last lecture, which is calculated from the fast 3 instrument. The unit for this is millimeter square. Then extensibility is expressed in percentage. Then bending rigidity is expressed in micronewton meter. Then shear rigidity is expressed in Newton meter. Thickness, surface thickness and released surface thickness is expressed in millimeter, and fabric weight is expressed in grams per meter square. As I have already been discussing in the previous slide, this by using this fast control chart, you can get the fingerprint in the of the fabric. So you can observe some shaded portions here. You can see the shaded portions in all the, I'm sorry, you can see the shaded portions here at the left corner and at the right corner. You can see, what does this say? The shaded portion say, this shaded portion say there is a particular problem in this in the particular property indicated. For example, here you see in the relaxation shrinkage, there is a term called RS1 and RS2. What is RS1? This shows the warp-wise relaxation shrinkage. And what does RS2 say? RS2 says the weft side relaxation shrinkage. For example, if the relaxation shrinkage is too low, then it will create problem in fusing and pleating. When you do the stitching, when you stitch the fabric and convert it into garment, then it will create problem in the fusing and pleating problems. As I already told you, it will, when you stitch the garment, it may give problems in in the seam portion, or in the sleeve head, or in the shoulder seam. Whenever you do stitching, there you will get the problem. But if the value relaxation shrinkage is too high, then actually it will create problem in the sizing. So here this sizing is not something which you normally, when you think, when you say, when the term sizing is told, normally you think about sizing where you do some take starch and improve the weight of the fabric. This is not that sizing. This sizing is different, where the dimensions of the fabric gets increased. So in the warp way, if it increases too high, or in the weft way, if it is low, so if there is a huge difference between in the warp and weft wise shrinkage, then it will create problem when you make the garment. The garment size also will become too high. The panels, the matching panels, whichever you are using for making the garment, that will not match. So it will give problems in sizing. Next term is the high-grade expansion. Here also you see HE1 and HE2, similar to relaxation shrinkage. You can see this is the HE1 is the warp high-grade expansion, and HE2 is the weft high-grade expansion. If the high-grade expansion goes too high, then also it's a problem. Up to, as I've already told you, up to 6% it is tolerable. But if it goes more than that, then it will create problem in the pleating and seam puckering. When you stitch the garment, it will create problem in the seam puckering. That is, the warp wise high-grade expansion is too high, then the weft wise high-grade expansion, then in that case it will lead to the seam puckering. Next is the formability. Formability, if the value is too low, then it will create this seam puckering, which we have already discussed in the previous lecture. Here also we measure both in the warp way and weft way. Next is the extensibility. Extensibility also we measure in both the warp and weft ways. You see, if the extensibility is too low, in that case it will create problems in overfeeding. That is, when you convert the two-dimensional fabric into a three-dimensional garment, in that case it will give certain problems like molding problems you will get when the extensibility is too low. Next is if the value is extreme, too high, if the extensibility is too high, then in that case what will happen? It will create problem in check matching and laying up problem. What is this check matching problem? For example, when you do the laying up, automatic laying up of fabric panels to convert it into garment, if the fabric is of a single color, then it may not be a problem. But if the fabric is of design is of a checked design, which is of multicolors, in that case what will happen, this higher extensibility will create problem in the laying up. Next is the bending rigidity. This bending rigidity also, you measure both the warp wise bending rigidity and weft wise bending rigidity. If the bending rigidity is too less, then it will create problem in the cutting. When you cut the fabric panels, there it will create a problem. If the bending rigidity is too high, then it will actually not, it is not a big problem, but it will make the fabric stiff, so that you can make a flat seam from the when the bending rigidity is too high. Next is the shear rigidity. In shear rigidity is described by the term called G. Shear rigidity, you can see there is no warp-wise or weft-wise direction shown here, mentioned here, because when you perform the shear rigidity test, you actually tilt the fabric to convert it into 45 degrees in the bias direction only you test it. So there is no warp or weft here. So if the value is too low, in that case it will create problem in the laying up, and if the value is too high, then it will have problem in molding and sleeve insertion. Next is the thickness, surface thickness and the release surface thickness. These three parameters we calculated from the fast one, which is the compression testing. Here also you see there is no warp or weft that is shown here. But here the main thing which we calculate from this thickness is, that is the finishing agent stability. So here it is expected that if a fabric is a perfect fabric, in that case the surface thickness and release surface thickness should be approximately equal or slightly close to it at least. Then only we can say that the finishing is perfect. Next is the fabric weight. This fabric weight, if it is too low, means the fabric is lighter, and if it is high, the value of the fabric weight is high, means then it is a heavy fabric. Now we will see an example of a control chart which shows the values for the particular fabric. You can see this is an example actually. You can see the relaxation shrinkage, high girdle expansion, formability, extensibility, bending rigidity, shear rigidity, thickness, whichever we have seen in the previous graph. But there you did not observe any kind of a fingerprint, only you saw the two extreme. If the value is in the low, if it is extremely low or extremely high, what will be the problems you will get. But here this shows a fingerprint. Here you can see the fingerprint, which is like a snake, which goes like this. So this shows that the value for relaxation shrinkage somewhere lies here, and this shows the values for high girdle expansion lies here. So there is the values are connected. These dots whichever is shown here, these are connected like a snake diagram. You can see normally it is expected that the value should of relaxation shrinkage or high girdle expansion, formability or extensibility or bending rigidity or shear rigidity, the value should neither be too low nor be too high. So for a perfect fabric to be made into garment where you should not get any problems when you convert the fabric into garment by stitching, then in that case the values should be somewhere in between. So if for a perfect fabric, this should come somewhere in the middle. The graph should follow everything in the middle. But here you do not get that kind of a graph. Here you see this is fine. Relaxation shrinkage is somewhere in the middle, and high girdle expansion is also fine, though the weft high girdle expansion here it is little higher. But if you observe the formability here, the formability is affected both on warp and weft wise. You can see the formability value is too low. So if the value is too low, what will happen? Formability value, if it is too low, it will create problem in the seam puckering. And here you see extensibility, it is somewhat fine. Warp wise, you can see the extensibility is not too low, is somewhat fine, but in weft wise you can see the extensibility is also close to the lower extensibility higher tolerance limit. So this is also fine, but bending rigidity, you see, you can observe here the graph, the bending rigidity is lower, though it is in the close to the highest point in the lower side, but still the bending rigidity is lower. It may create problem in the when you do the cutting. Next is the shear rigidity. Shear rigidity, you can see the graph is connecting, the dot is shown here. So this dot shows that the shear rigidity value is lower. So this creates problem when you do the laying up. That when you do the automatic laying up and convert that into garment by stitching, then it will create laying up problems. And here you can see thickness value is also lower. Surface thickness values and release surface thickness value, you can see it is somewhat equal. This is the surface thickness value and this is the release surface thickness value. It is somewhat close. You can observe the right side corner. For all these, you can see instead of seeing the graph, you can see the right side, I'm sorry, right side corner, you can see whatever points that is shown here that is connected by dots, those values are shown in the right side. So here you can see the surface thickness and release surface thickness is very close. That is, surface thickness is 0.1 millimeter and release surface thickness is 0.12 millimeter, which is very close. So what does this say? It says that the finishing agent which you have added has been, it is actually perfect. It will not easily leach out when you subject it to multiple launderings. So this is in terms of finishing, it is very effective. This fabric will be very effective. But only the problem is, main problem which you face is from the formability and the shear rigidity. So this kind of an understanding you can get by doing the fast system testing. So you can, if you come to know that whatever problems whatever problem that you will face when you convert it into garment, then you can actually take some precautions to prevent those problems. So that is the greatest advantages of this fast system. Now we will see what are the uses of fast in brief. This fast system can tell one how a fabric will perform when it is converted into garment. The abnormal fabric fingerprints points to potential problem areas. This fast system can pinpoint these areas and enable one to adjust the procedures before the problems become serious. So in the fabric stage itself, if you come to know that after you make the garment, you may be getting these kind of problems, then you can actually take the prevention. Then the fabric prints can be used for fabric specifications, developing new fabric, comparing fabric finishing routes, assessing the stability of the finished fabrics, and predicting the tailoring performance and final garment appearance. So you can see how advantages is the fast system. You can actually use for fabric specification, you can develop new fabrics, you can compare the finishing routes by doing the fast one system compression. By using the compression meter, you predict, you calculated the surface thickness and release surface thickness, and you can calculate the how effective is the your finishing agent. So you can assess the stability of the finished fabrics, and you can predict the tailoring performance without doing the stitching the garment. You can, in the fabric stage itself, you can predict the tailoring performance. So you can see how advantageous it is by using a very simple instruments. Not using any we are not using any complex instruments here like a Kawabata evaluation system. We use a very simple instruments where the instrumentation is so easy, and the calculation of parameters that are very important and that easily predicts the particular problem that we are going to face. So you can see how greatly it is advantageous when the fast system is. So this system is commercially successful system which is developed by CSIRO Australia, as I have already told you, and it is industrially commercially successful, practiced in industries, and it is very easy actually, and by using this simple instrument you will get very nice information that helps you to understand how the fabric will behave if it is converted into garment. So now we have come to the end of the lecture. So this is about the fast system. So thanks for listening. Have a nice day.